really against drugs because I think they really take people from the reality, and it hurts a lot of people because people are dying for traffic, young children, and it's just a waste of time to do drugs, any drugs. I think reality is much more cool than drugs, and it hurts our society so much because it costs a lot of lives. And
drugs, the whole idea about drugs is not bad, but the abuse of drugs is what makes it evil. And if we look in our society today, a greater percentage of the homeless people are drug abusers. So let's all stand together and fight against drugs.
It's not good for you. If you are a woman and you're taking drugs and you're pregnant, it could cause problem for your baby and for yourself too. Drugs can kill your creative thinking. Drugs can lead to more problems. Drugs can separate you from your boyfriend or your husband. Drugs is bad because maybe you will just keep on spending money and you will not go to school, and therefore you will not have better education and you will not have.
Drugs are a necessary part of our society. They heal you when you need them. I would like to focus more on the drugs that are illegal. Drugs are basically pretty much killing our communities, is unnecessary. We need to do a better job on controlling how drugs get into our country and what we do with the drugs. My experience, I really don't use drugs, but I do see how it affects people in my particular part of town. And we need to do something about it. It's getting to the point that I think the 80s are coming all over again, and it's going to get worse if, as a community, as a country, as a world, we don't do something about what's affecting pretty much everyone around the world. That's my.
I sell drugs to make money. I have lots of pimps that distribute the drugs around, so I could have lots of houses and stuff to go around.
No. Okay. Well, I think that there's a good and a bad to everything, and that coincides with drugs. There's a good aspect of drugs and there's a bad aspect of drugs. Some drugs are used to cure diseases, some psychological disorders, but some drugs, they find a negative side in them, and that's when you have people that abuse drugs and they let the drugs take over their mind, their body, and the way that they live their life. So that's just what I think about drugs, is the yin and the yang.
One can claim that drugs are good for your health, but as the time shows today, a lot of people tries and learns it's not good. So I prefer you don't try and learn it's not good, but if you do it, just learn it's not good.
I'm going to pick today's marijuana. Marijuana is distributed all over the world. Marijuana makes people hungry. Marijuana makes people do crazy things. It destroys the body, like most drugs destroy the body. I wouldn't recommend anyone to do marijuana or any drug to that effect, because this is one of the reasons why they did not legalize, marijuana in this country.
Not good for your health. It has been proven that drugs can damage your brain. So my advice for everybody is not to do drugs. And for obvious reasons, it will damage your body and probably will affect people around you.
Okay, drugs are bad. Don't use drugs. No. Crack is whack, coke is cheap, all of that. But no, I'm not an advocate for drugs. I don't believe drugs should be used as an alternative for a depressant or a different situation. I know people go through different things in life, but I feel like drugs do not heal the problem. Drugs will only heal the moment, and whatever you're facing, you're still going to be dealing with after you take the drug, or after you come down from your high, or after you come down from your drunk, because alcohol is also considered a drug. It's a difference to me between abuse and misuse. So you can be abusing a drug, misusing a drug, and I mean, everything should be done in moderation. I'm not an advocate for any type of drugs, but I feel like everything should be done in moderation. If you're gonna drink, you should drink in moderation. And you know, things that are legal should be done in moderation. But when you misuse a drug for a purpose that has no purpose, then it shouldn't be used at all. So stay sober. I mean, when you drink, drink to have fun, not to kill your problems. Or smoking, I do not agree with smoking at all. 0%. I do not agree with it. Smoking is bad. It's cancer on a stick. So no, I'm not a drug fan, but whatever.
I think it's the use of the mind-altering substances that people use nowadays. Not only nowadays, but usually many youth use this as an alternative of stress relief. But many other people also use, and it has become not only social but
they destroy homes, they kill people, and they hurt the ones you love. Stay away from drugs. Live a happy, drug-free life. You don't need drugs in your life, and neither do the people that love you. The people that love you don't want to see you on drugs. They don't want to see you destroyed. They want to see you succeed. And the way to succeed is to stay away from drugs.
Today I'm going to be discussing about drugs, but I personally think that there's nothing wrong with drugs. But the only problem is when you start abusing drugs. Like for instance, there are a couple of people who are on weed, or also known as MJ. But what are the side effects? What is the long-term side effects when it comes to drugs? The bad thing is that when people abuse these drugs, they don't realize that something as weed, the side effects are, in the long run, are even worse than what they are temporarily. Yes, temporarily they make you feel good. They make you go into this crazy stage. But after the effect is gone, what happens? You become paranoid. And therefore, that's not a good thing for other people. And it creates tension and a lot of breakups within a relationship. So therefore, I would strongly suggest to be careful and just...
Drugs. I mean, obviously they have negative effects of it, but why do you really stop taking drugs? Because most of people still do things such as drink beer, such as smoke cigarettes, such as things in the past. Yet we talk about a drug as something we cannot do. To be very negative. Alcohol is considered a drug too. So my question is, okay, why pick one drug over another? Obviously there's negative effects. You're not going to pick crack, but nonetheless, it's drugs altogether. If it's something negative, why do you mess with it altogether at all? No matter alcohol, whatever it is. Question about, because we have one legal, and imagine if marijuana gets legal, because at one point alcohol was banned, and then there was whole reaction underground, negative stuff. Imagine if you legalize marijuana, what would the repercussions of then banning it again? Something to think about drugs. What is good, what is bad? Because some people choose to accept some, and then everybody just talks about negative about entirely the other. I do not choose to do any drugs at all, but nonetheless.
Truly who you are. I lost somebody who was very dear to my heart to drugs. He was very talented. He was a sweet person, and drugs changed him as a person to be ugly, to steal, to be in jail, and I knew that's not who he truly was. Unfortunately, he passed away due to drugs and getting infected with AIDS, and I miss him dearly.